Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Entrepreneur Podcast. This is episode 6. In today's podcast, we're going to talk about what is motivation. So, my name is Ashish Sakal.
And my name is Sogat Pradhan. And like you said, we're going to talk about motivation today, how to get more motivated to do better things in your life and push forward towards your business, towards your goal, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Ashish, what do you think motivation is when it comes to achieving your goals, pushing towards your goal and working hard every single day?
Mm-hmm.
How does motivation come in play?
Yeah.
What do you think?
So, I believe, Sagat, that as an entrepreneur, when you're working with a business or when you have a business, you should definitely be motivated. But we as humans tend to focus on like, oh, how can I get motivated? I don't think we should do that because that's going to lead to a bad path. And last episode, where we talk about habit, building a habit is a really, really, really good thing to do, and you have to keep that stamina, and that's how you get motivated. You
Yeah.
don't look at the word motivated and just be motivated and do something. You have to have purpose, you have to have discipline, and you have to have the habit to really, really, really move forward and be motivated in that case. But that's my perspective of motivation and definition of motivation. So why don't you tell me or the viewers what your
Yeah.
definition is?
So motivation, when it comes to putting in work and working towards your goal, motivation is a very big factor to help you push forward. And it's not very easy to get motivated to do things. I know some people that don't even have any motivation to get up from their bed, things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
from my definition, motivation is basically just a discipline like you have in yourself that pushes you to work harder towards your goal, and just getting you to closer to your goal every single day, making you work harder. Um, something that pushes you to accomplish that thing that you want to accomplish, no matter if it's like a short-term goal or even a long-term goal. So motivation is a factor when it comes to entrepreneurship, business, just working on anything by yourself, right? And it's not very easy to be motivated, but there are a lot of ways that you can, motivate yourself. You can, push yourself forward and things like that. What about you, bro? Like, how do you think that people that are not self-motivated, what do you think that they should do to motivate themselves to work towards their goal and become better at their work?
Yeah, so what I think they should do is that first they should find a purpose in life, because
Yeah.
everybody has a goal, everybody has a dream, and we have to find a purpose in order to really get there, right? And so the way you become motivated is really by finding your purpose at the end of the day, because if you don't have your purpose, then you're not going to be able to do, you know, the goal that you set to do. So find your purpose and really go with the flow, because you're not gonna have a perfect balance in life, and you're not gonna be always successful. You're gonna
Mhm.
fail, and failing is part of the journey, as we mentioned on the previous episode. And that's what happens when you get motivated, is that you're gonna fail. And when you fail, you're gonna tend to balance back down and not be motivated. But it's your job to be disciplined and have a habit of really motivating yourself. And again, let me repeat this: motivation is something that you should never look at by itself. You should look at it as a puzzle piece, because if you have a habit, if you have a discipline, and if you're motivated, if you okay, well, now I know I'm going to do this, then you're going to really accomplish your goals and aspiration that you have for yourself. And so that's what I think, and we as human beings often find lots of mistake and find lots of holes when it comes to finding true motivation. But the motivation itself is not going to motivate you to do big things. It's your habit, discipline, and your purpose or your why,
And from my perspective, when like you want to motivate yourself, you want to get better at your job, I think looking at it for a long term is a very
Mhm.
very big way to like motivate yourself. For example, let's say that you want to accomplish something really big. You have to see it in a long term way. Don't look at it like, hey, I'm gonna accomplish this in a week or 2 weeks.
Definitely.
Look at it from a very like big perspective and work towards that goal. So, for example, I recently joined a new real estate brokerage where
Hmm.
I have a coach that I can ask for help anytime I need help. And one of the important things he told me was that one appointment a day is $1 million a year. So that really motivated me. Let me explain this how. Okay, so here in South Dakota, average home price is 290 to 300,000 in between that range, and we get 3% commission as a real estate agent if you sell a home, and 3% of like whatever sell you make. And if you get one appointment a day, that's like 5 per week, right? If you work from Monday to Friday, and then if you get 5 a week, that's 20 a month, and that's like what, 240 a year. But not every appointment is gonna go through. You're gonna lose some of that. So if you cut that in half, that's only like 120 appointments that you actually convert into a listing, right? So
Definitely.
if you times 120 times 8%, 8% of 120, which is like $1 million per year. So what he told me was one appointment is worth $1 million. So if you work towards that, if you work hard to get one appointment a day, eventually you'll make $1 million in 1 year. But
Definitely.
that
Definitely.
$1 million is really pushing me to get one appointment every single day. Even if I don't convert that lead, even if I don't get that listing, it's still pushing me forward to get that appointment, and then later on convert at least half of what I get, right? So
Definitely.
that's something that's really motivating me. And it's really important that you look at it from a long perspective instead of saying that, hey, I want to accomplish this in a year or even shorter period of time. So when it comes to motivating yourself, having a long-term goal is a very big factor here. What
And
do you think about that?
I wanna add to that, Sogod, because you mentioned that the $1 million, right? That's your purpose,
Yeah,
right? That's something that you're
yeah,
focusing on and really trying to work towards of getting that money. But some people, when it comes to motivation, they look for what they want first rather than what the work is. But what you're really trying to do is that you're trying to focus on what you want and what your purpose is, really, right? And so in order to get to
exactly.
that goal, your motivation is pretty much, okay, if I do one appointment, that can be that can turn into $1 million, right? That's the mentality that you have, and
Yeah,
that's the motivation that
yeah,
you have. But in order to
exactly.
in order to really get there, you have to really work towards that. And that's what I'm saying, right? And you prove my point of saying, we as human focus on the motivation itself, but we don't focus on the discipline and the habit that we create, right? We need to focus on that instead of focusing on the motivation itself, because if you can
Exactly.
focus on the habit and the discipline of going to appointments, going to appointments, getting appointments, and really trying to sell a house, right? At the end of the day,
Yeah,
that is the habit that you should have, and that is your motivation right there, which is the $1 million, and that's how you're going to accomplish
exactly.
your goal and your purpose as well. So I want to tell our viewers or our listeners that do not focus on the motivation itself and not focus with their purpose as well. You know what I mean? Focus with their purpose and get motivated by it, and find out what the purpose is at the end of the day. And that's what I want to say.
Yeah, exactly, man. Everything you said is very it's really good. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And another thing is, like, I met someone in this new brokerage. He told he told me all about law of attraction. I don't know if you heard about that before.
Yeah, I have.
That's when you tell yourself that you are already doing the thing that you want to do. I talked about this a little bit last episode too. So if you tell yourself that you are already accomplishing the things that you want to accomplish, that's going to motivate you more to work towards that goal, to get to that achievement that you want to achieve, right? So I also want, really like writing down my goals every single day,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and just telling myself that I'm already at that stage. I'm already
Definitely.
at my goal. It's really, really important that if you do that, it's really going to motivate you. Even when you're feeling down and you look at the notes, you're like, oh wow, I'm already here, right? So, and then you're going to push yourself towards that. So I think it's really important that if you write down your goals and tell yourself that you're already at that goal, and which is going to push you forward, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to say here is that law of attraction is, it's something that works. Not a lot of people actually believe in this, but if you do believe in this, it actually works, right? And
Definitely.
there's a lot
Definitely.
of books and podcasts and things like that if you can listen to it about this. And it's something new to me too. I wasn't really a big fan of it, but I have been seeing a lot of people using law of attraction to get better at their business
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a big factor to motivate yourself. What do you think about law of attraction? Uh, do you agree with that or disagree with that?
Yeah, law of attraction. I think it's a great model,
Yeah.
because it's like saying what goes around comes back to you,
Uh-huh.
So same thing with this, if you make a idea and or if you have an idea, let's say if you're starting a startup and if you have an idea as a CEO, as an entrepreneur of that company, you have to have the vision, right? Well, I want to be here and I want to, really get there by working towards it, right? And that's
Yeah.
kind of like a law of attraction right there. A great example would be a
Yeah.
CEO of a company manifesting and saying, you know what? I want my company to hit $1 billion in 30 years. For example, let me give you guys an example of Elon Musk. Elon Musk, when he started Tesla, he was broke. He was in the negatives, millions and multi-millions of dollars in debt. But the manifestation and the vision and the law of attraction that he had as a CEO was, I'm gonna take Tesla and I'm gonna make one of the best EV companies. And guess what he did? He did it.
Yeah.
So same thing with money, same thing with relationship, and same thing with life. You have
Yeah.
to have law of attraction and think ahead, just like you have goals and aspirations for yourself, right?
Yeah.
And so I want our listeners and viewers to really, really, really manifest every single day and visualize that you can do anything in life. And I like
Yeah.
what
And
Sogat said. I like what Sogat said. Sogat said, law of attraction. Have that kind of mentality of saying, I already have this, but guess what? I'm going to make it a reality. I already have it here. I already have the visualization, the image. Now I'm going to make it into reality. I want, I want,
exactly.
I want you guys to know
Yeah.
that.
And whatever vision that you put into yourself will attract that. So if you are, someone that hates your job and says that, oh yeah, I'm never gonna get there, or I'm never gonna make any money from this, things like that, that's really gonna push you down, and you're never gonna make money. But if you tell
Definitely.
yourself, oh yeah, I love this, I love what I'm doing, and I'm gonna get to my goal soon, no matter if it's today, tomorrow, but I'm gonna get there in one day. If you tell yourself like, yeah, I'll get to that goal in one day, but not right now, not maybe not tomorrow, but hopefully one day I'll get there, and push yourself that towards that, it will eventually happen, right?
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely. I really do believe that. And I also want to talk about sometimes we get like, stressed out, because we didn't reach our goal or we didn't, accomplish the goal, right? And I think that has to do with motivation too, Sogat, because, you know, when we get stressed out or when we didn't reach our goal, our energy level of the, motivation is it's
Yeah.
nearly decreasing, right? And I talked about this, the energy level on the last episode of, what Tony Robbins says is that when we're feeling sad, when we're feeling angry, we have a different energy level. And when it comes to motivation and then really, attracting to be good in life, and you're not accomplishing that, in a way, your energy level comes down. So, I want to tell our listeners that don't be discouraged if your energy level is down today. You might not win today and you might not win tomorrow, but if you really manifest and have that motivation of, setting a good discipline, good habit, and really have, a courage in yourself to, be motivated the next day because of those discipline that you set, you will succeed in life.
Yeah.
You will definitely will. So I wanted to let you guys know that too,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
life is hard. Life is not easy. And we all go through obstacles, but don't give up. At the end of the day, don't give up because you'll definitely win in life.
Exactly. And even if something doesn't go the way that you want it, accept it, right? Accept the results. Don't be
Definitely.
discouraged, like, oh yeah, I hate it, didn't go this time, it didn't go through, maybe tomorrow it'll go through, I learned something new from this mistake or this failure. Then use that failure, use that lesson that you learned from that failure, and then apply it into the next thing that you want to accomplish,
Definitely.
right? It's definitely going to motivate you to do more things if you do that. But if you tell yourself, hey, this didn't work today, I don't think it's ever going to work, it's never going to work for you, because it's not going to push you to do better things, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's also the mind game too.
Yeah, the mindset. Yep.
It's the mindset game too because it's so crazy. And I want to mention this too. So God, you mentioned a law of attraction. I call it law of attitude too. You know,
Yeah.
or law of discipline.
Yep.
It
Yep.
all goes around. There's 20 to 30 things that goes around. Having a good discipline, having a good habit, having a good courage or being encouraged. It's law of attitude. And if you can manage, a really law of attitude, you know, you're not gonna lose in life, and you just gotta push through that and really know that you're gonna make it big in life. And I just wanted to say that it's crazy because we talk about law of attraction, but I want to talk about law of attitude because that's what it is too.
Yeah, I mean, like, whatever attitude that you have towards your work ethic, your goal, that's the result that you get, right? So if you
Definitely.
don't have good attitudes towards your work, let's say that you're working on something big and you don't have a good attitude, you're just constantly telling yourself that you're a failure, things like that. It's never gonna work for you. But if you have a good attitude, no matter if it fails or if you accomplish, and if you only get to certain amount of result, not the whole result. You still have a good attitude. Tell yourself, hey, I can do it. I can do it better next time. Having good attitude can definitely help you out with your long-term goals and things like that. So I'm glad you brought that up too.
Definitely. Yeah. I just thought about that and I'm like, it's so crazy how, you know, we complain and we have all these excuses, but we never, think about law of attitude and how that makes a big impact with our lives and what we do as a entrepreneur or whatever we have in our life. And it's so crazy to think about that. So I just wanted to mention
Yeah,
that.
I mean, some people don't even have what many people have right now, right? So, if you're working
Mhm.
like a corporate job or things like that, some people don't even have that, and they're in a like really really low level. Think about that. Like, what do you think? They're able to do. Some people don't even have anything they can do about it, right? So,
Definitely.
have a
Definitely.
good attitude about your job. Have a good attitude about what you're doing in life, because there are people that cannot afford to make it where you're at right now, right?
Definitely. Yeah. And a lot of these people too, they don't, I don't know if majority of people love their job. I hope they do, but and most don't. And so in order to get out of 9 to 5, that's another leverage that you have to have, and you have to really think towards. So the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of people like in America who work at a corporate job, 9 to 5 job, they either hate it or they don't like it,
Yeah,
and they don't have that motivation that we're talking about to really do the job. And most people quit after 4 or 5 years. And so you know the ones that are out there who want to do it, it's great. And I'm not nothing against them. Job is a job. There's nothing wrong or right answer to it at the
yeah,
end of the day, or there's nothing wrong with it. But what I'm saying is that most people hate it because of the motivation and the courage. They don't really have that because the discipline that they have set, they don't like it, right? The habit that they have set every single day, going at the desk that they work at, boom 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 boom, doing it. Most people don't like it.
yeah.
And that's something that contains motivation and discipline, and
I
it's
guess,
nuts.
yeah. When you brought that 9 to 5, I think like most people, that are switching from 9 to 5 to becoming an independent contractor or a entrepreneur, it might be hard for them because they're used to people telling them what to do. So when you start working for yourself, there's no one to tell you what to do. You have to tell yourself,
Definitely.
what to do. So you have to be independent. You have to have that motivation to tell yourself, hey, do this. Hey, do this. Get this done. Because if you don't tell yourself, if you don't have the motivation to do things, there's no one that's going to tell you what to do, and you're going to fail, right?
Definitely.
So
And I think it's part of the learning process. Like we talked about, failure is the greatest asset or teacher of all time. And you fail. If you're that person coming out from 9 to 5 world, fail first, and
yeah,
don't be discouraged by it because you failed, because everybody fails in life. Nobody succeeds without
no
failing,
no
right?
one's perfect, right?
And you have to have that kind of mentality of coming out of that and saying, okay, well, this is what I'm going to do, and this is my game plan, and this is how I'm going to succeed. And one thing that I want to mention is that just because you didn't succeed today doesn't mean you're going to succeed in the future endeavors. You will. And your schedule of how you set your to-do list, that's how you're going to make money, or that's how you're going to succeed as an entrepreneur. And you
Right.
have to really have a balanced schedule, and you have to focus. There's no wasting time. I stress a lot about my future, Sagat, and I bet you do too. The
Yeah.
reason why I do it is because I want to be successful before I'm 50 or 60, because I don't have to work twice as hard, you know, and live that lifestyle where like I work and I'm getting that freedom. What I want to do now is that I want to have fun later, work so hard right now, you know, and be very successful, you know, at the end of the day of being old, you know, and whatever that is, however old I be. And,
Yeah, man.
you know, I want to be successful then and have fun then, you know, and travel the world. But definitely don't be discouraged if you know, are losing faith. Just keep going, have that discipline, have that motivation, and be the best version of yourself. Because at the end of the day, you're going to change your future. No one will, you know, you
Exactly.
will.
Right.
So I want to say
Yeah.
that as well.
I guess the last thing that I want to say before we end this podcast is that stop being comfortable, right? Because
Definitely.
a lot of
Definitely.
people right now are being comfortable where they're at, and you know they're hating what they have to do right now. Because a lot of people, they don't
Yep.
put enough work. They're not happy where they are because they're comfortable with what they have right now. So
Definitely.
go out of the way and you know do some stuff that are not comfortable, you know, and see how that can change your life, right?
Definitely. Yeah. Like, you know, being uncomfortable is hard at times.
Yeah,
And that's that's part of life too. I mean, you have to work hard. There's no way you can make out and be rich, and unless you have a rich dad, or if you have a rich
yeah,
cousin,
right.
you know, if you have Uncle Sam. I'm not talking about the IRS. I'm talking about Uncle Sam who's really rich and successful. You know, he's like, all right, you know, I'll give you $2 million. If you have that, then that's great. But for people who don't have that, you have to work hard. There's no way you're gonna make it, you know, to being rich or being wealthy, you know, without putting any effort into it, you know. And so what I want to say, you know, and this is my last thing that I want to say, is that, you know, have the discipline, you know, be extremely motivated, but with the discipline that you set, and do not give up in life. And just know that if you work towards your goals, you'll definitely make it. And do not focus on too many things. Do not focus on building too many bridges. You know, if you focus on building 30 bridges, you're gonna fail, and you're gonna have a hard time succeeding and going over that bridge of, you know, really, you know, and building it as well. So
Yeah.
build one bridges at a time. And once you build that one bridge, have a system in place where that business is constantly giving you cash flow every single month. And it's going to do that for the next 40, 50, 60 years. Have another bridge after that, do the same thing. Build that business to a level where that's going to give you cash flow the next 30, 40 years. Move on to the next one. So one by one, move on and build bridges and build, or which I meant to say, build business, right? When I say build bridges, you know,
Yeah.
that's how you should do it. Don't focus on 30 things, or build 30 bridges at once and fail and be miserable, because you're going to lose motivation, definitely, and you're not going to have the discipline, and you're not going to have that habit of really going forward out, you know, if you're focusing on 30 bridges. Focus on one, move towards each one of them one by one, and you'll definitely succeed in life, and you're going to have lots of motivation because of the habit and the discipline you set by focusing on one bridge or building one business. So that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah,
Do you have
I really
anything?
like I really like what you said there. Just focus on one bridge first, and then have a system in place,
Definitely.
and then start a new one. So I think that's it for this podcast. We really hope that you guys enjoyed it. I think it was very valuable. You know, moving forward, so
Mhm.
we're gonna try to bring some guests.
Yes, next week. So next
Yeah,
week we're gonna have a guest, and I just want to throw it out there. He's a basketball Hall of Fame in the, you know, in the street baller world.
yeah.
So I hope you guys, you know, like that episode, and I hope you guys get a lot of motivation out of that episode. And not next week, but the next week, we're gonna have someone extremely, well known entrepreneur in Utah, and he's a great entrepreneur, and you're definitely gonna learn a lot from him. So yeah,
All right, man. Yeah, it was great. Thanks so much, guys, for listening. Hopefully, we'll be able to continuously provide values from this podcast. All right.
definitely. See you guys.